Hello again, my science friends. We are looking today at the layers of the Earth. The layers of the Earth. You remember what they are? Have you studied them already? I know we did in our class. They are the crust on the outside. Then what's under the crust? Do you remember? The mantle. Then the outer core and inner core. Did you remember them? Well, if you didn't, you're going to learn about or review them, I should say, today because we've already learned about them. So we're looking at some data on the four layers of the Earth. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to read this text with you today. And then at the end, we've got some data tables to fill in from the text. So we'll go over that when we get there. So let me read this with you, and then we'll take some time and I'll explain to you what I want you to do on the last slide before you turn it in today. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. Journey to the center of the Earth. A science research company has decided to build a geo-explorer capable of navigating the different layers of the Earth. The geo-explorer must be capable of moving through the different materials, withstanding extreme temperatures, and carry enough fuel to make it through each layer and back. The company has hired you to research the layers of the Earth so that the company will better understand the problems they'll face in building their machine. They would like the data you find compiled into an easy-to-read chart. Read the following research and diagrams to gather your data. So we're going to be like researchers to find out about the different layers. Then we're going to compile a data table for this geo-explorer company so that they can travel through the Earth. So here we go. Let's look at the layers of the Earth. Because we cannot go inside the Earth to see what's there, scientists have investigated the composition of the layers of the Earth using seismic waves. As technology improves, new information about the layers of the Earth can be learned. The Earth is made of four main layers. These layers are the crust, the mantle, the inner core, and the outer core. These layers differ from each other in composition, temperature, physical state, and thickness. The crust is the layer of the Earth that supports life. We live on the crust. Its temperature averages 22 degrees Celsius. It's made of minerals and solid rocks. The crust is the thinnest layer, making up less than 1% of the Earth's mass. There are two types of crust, oceanic and continental. Land is called continental crust. It ranges from 14 to 50 miles thick. Oceanic crust is the crust under the oceans. It's thinner and denser than continental crust. It's around 2 to 6 miles thick. So we've got the crust, the outer part that we walk on, except not oceanic crust. Beneath the crust is the mantle. The mantle is the thickest layer, making up about 72% of the mass of the Earth. It's composed of liquid rock made of melted iron and minerals. Intense heat keeps the rock liquid. In the upper mantle, temperatures can range from 500 to 900 degrees Celsius. In the lower mantle, temperatures can reach over 4,000 degrees Celsius. The liquid rock rises and sinks due to changes in temperature. The rising and sinking of the rock causes convection currents. Those convection currents can cause movement of the crust of the Earth's surface. The liquid rock can even travel to the surface of the Earth through volcanoes. So we've got next is the crust. This is a liquid area. It's liquid rock made of melted iron and minerals, very, very hot. And then underneath it, below the mantle, is the outer core. The outer core is extremely hot, with temperatures reaching 4,000 to 6,000 degrees Celsius. It's made of iron and nickel. The extreme heat keeps the metals melted into liquid form. The movement of liquid metal causes the Earth's magnetic field. The Earth's magnetic field helps protect the Earth from solar winds. Without this protection, Earth would not exist. At the very center of the Earth is the inner core. This layer is the hottest at 5,000 to 6,000 degrees Celsius. This layer is made of dense iron and nickel. Unlike the outer core, these metals are solid. This layer is hot enough to melt metal, but remains solid due to intense pressure. This layer gives Earth its gravitational pull. So the core, even though it's the hottest area, the inner core, the metal in there is solid still instead of liquid. All of these layers combine to provide Earth's unique qualities. While we know a bit about the inside of the Earth, scientists are still investigating to learn more. All right, let's look at a picture here so we can see a diagram of this. So the outer part that we walk on, that the land crust is 3 to 30 miles thick. Okay, so this chart tells us the thickness of each layer. The mantle is 1,800 miles thick. It's the thickest part. Then you've got the outer core, which is 1,400 miles thick. And then you've got the inner core, which is only 760 miles thick. The radius of the Earth, that means from the outside of the Earth to the center of the Earth, is 3,960 miles. So we've got a lot of data in our text and in this table, in this picture rather. So now we're going to look at this table. Now up here, it says you can do this. If you want to use some of the highlighting tools or maybe make your words different colors in the text or something, you can do that. But you don't have to worry about this up here. What I do want you to do is fill in the chart. So I'm going to help you with the crust and show you where to find the answers. The word composition, it means what is it made out of? Okay, so let's go back to the slide about the crust. If it will let me, we'll go back to the slide about the crust. Okay. The crust is the layer of the Earth that supports life. Its temperature averages 22 degrees Celsius. It's made of, so what it's made of is called the composition. It's made of minerals and solid rocks. So I'm going to go back to my chart. The composition of the crust, I can't type in present mode, I have to go like this, is minerals and solid rock. So that's what you would put there. Now the temperature of the crust. I'm going to click on my slide here. The crust is the layer of the Earth that supports life. Its temperature averages 22 degrees Celsius. So I'm going to go back to temperature beside crust, and I'm going to put 22 degrees Celsius. Now we usually measure in Fahrenheit. We might say today it's 70 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Celsius is a different way to measure temperature that scientists use. So it's hard for us to understand what 22 degrees is because we're used to hearing Fahrenheit numbers. Just a different way to measure temperature, but the scientific way is Celsius. Physical state, okay, that means is it solid? Is it liquid? Okay, so what's the crust? If it's made out of rock, it's solid, right? So 2 of the layers are solid and 2 of them are kind of liquid. So you want to read about that. Thickness, the thickness of it, well, we've got to go back to that chart. It tells us how thick it is. It's 3 to 30 miles thick. So then I go back here and I'm going to put 3 to 30 miles. All right. Now, I've already got the crust done for you. So today on your assignment, you've got to go back and find all of these things for the mantle, the outer core, and the inner core to complete your chart, all right? Now remember, this part up here, you don't have to do that, underline the composition. If you want to go back up here and the composition and you want to say, okay, well, that's what it's made of, do you want to go back and, I don't know, it would be hard to do because you can't really do it on this thing right here. So don't worry about that. I mean, you could use tools and put boxes around what it's made of. It's made of, but I mean, then you mess it up. So I wouldn't even worry about that. That's up to you if you like to highlight the text and things like that. But it's hard to do on a computer program sometimes. So like I said, don't worry about these directions. What I'll be grading is if you got the right answers here in the box. Okay, I'll let you get started. Go back and reread and answer these boxes for me. I'll see you tomorrow.